Hey everyone, it's Mike. I review nootropics and talk personal development, and during this video today we're going to talk about N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine. What is it good for? It's good for a lot of things. I'm looking at examine.com. We can see benefits across cognition, decreasing stress, increased subjective well-being, an improvement in your working memory, and things like learning retention. And from my experience, it has benefits way beyond that. Things like your motivation day by day, waking up excited, and it also has some really neat benefits across building a better physique. For those of you that aspire to build more muscle and lose more fat, this is also a fantastic nootropic. So let's get into the video. First things first, let's address the question of what is tyrosine itself. What it is it's an amino acid that you can find in abundance in your diet already, probably through things like chicken breast, egg whites. It's even in protein powder. If you're just to look at your tub of protein powder, there's usually a list and a breakdown of the different amino acids which the protein powder contains. Of course, as well as tyrosine, it's going to always include things like leucine and the other BCAAs. So then the question becomes, why supplement with it if we're already getting it through our diet? And the reason why is because really with tyrosine, the beautiful thing happens when you take it independent of other calories or other amino acids, because then it's just more easily digested. You can notice it pretty much immediately when you take it on a fasted state. That's how I'm usually taking it, which we'll talk about. But really, what is the difference between N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine versus L-Tyrosine? Well, from my experience, they both work. There's no denying that, but I find L-Tyrosine, not only is it more effective, but it seems to last longer. So with N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine, it's supposedly the more bioavailable version. I'd say quite honestly that N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine is kind of like the inferior and overpriced version of L-Tyrosine. There's some emerging research showing that N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine, it has more of that buildup effect. For those of you that are looking to replace your SSRI or really trying to improve your mood long term, then if you are to use N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine twice daily for an extended period of time, like 3 weeks, apparently you have a better baseline mood. That hasn't been my experience though. You don't have to be too concerned about side effects, at least for me anyway. I don't really have any bad side effects with L-Tyrosine except for the occasional headache. So with N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine, don't get me wrong, I've tried it for a few cycles and that's pretty much what I noticed is it works, but it seems to act only for maybe 45 to 60 minutes, whereas L-Tyrosine, almost in all cases, it's working for 90 minutes. So the ideal way in which I take it is first thing in the morning pre-workout. Something you cannot ignore though is that on a lot of popular nootropic blends like Quailiamine or even 5 Hour Energy, for those of you that come across that product in the gas station, and I think some energy drinks like Rockstar, they're usually using N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine. And why are they using this? For my opinion, it's just marketing hype. I like to be honest with you guys and say that N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine, sure, when people come across that ingredient, they may think, okay, this stuff is a game changer, when the reality is, for those of you that have tried both, you'll probably admit that L-Tyrosine, man, this stuff is far more effective. And I've even played with adding them both to the same nootropic stack to see if it did anything. But no, with N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine, you know what to expect. The stuff still does work. Again, just L-Tyrosine is more effective, lasts for longer, and I don't experience this little bit of irritability which I seem to get with N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine. You'll notice that the stuff is arguably more potent, as an average dose of N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine seems to be about 300, 350 milligrams, whereas with L-Tyrosine, a more common dose is 500 milligrams to 750 milligrams. Should you use N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine? Perhaps if you don't notice anything from L-Tyrosine, but if you're not noticing anything from L-Tyrosine, then likely it's because you're eating it too close to a meal. Irregardless of whether it's L-Tyrosine or N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine, this beautiful synergy happens when you mix tyrosine and caffeine. You get more focus, you get more motivation, and overall more energy. And this may sound a little bit too good to be true, but it's such that your caffeine is more effective, more mood uplifting, and lasts longer, which is a little bit similar to taurine, which I'll discuss in a future video. Alright, so quite honestly, I'm such a big fan of tyrosine in general that I have L-Tyrosine both in the capsule form and in the powdered form. And there's a reason to this. The reason why is because pre-workout, similar to alpha GPC, I like taking a lot more L-Tyrosine than I typically would throughout the course of the day. With L-Tyrosine as well as N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine, the more you take, the longer it seems to last. So naturally, because my average weight training session would last for about an hour, I'm much better off taking more L-Tyrosine versus less, because I want to have that focus and that energy throughout the whole workout. And tyrosine as well has some really neat benefits across weight loss. There are studies showing that not only does it suppress your appetite, but it actually enhances fat loss when you take it pre-workout. Science actually shows this. It suggests that these natural thermogenic supplements can act to like heat up your body. So what happens is when you're working out, your fat cells more efficiently go into the bloodstream and can be used as fuel. Here's what a typical capsule looks like, 500 milligrams. My favorite serving is actually 750 milligrams if I am to use it exclusive of working out. 500 milligrams can still do the trick, and when you take 1 gram, then it's usually too much, to the point that you can get these like slight but mild headaches when you take too much. And then here's what the powder looks like. This tub is actually 500 grams, so it fits me well for when I'm in a good workout routine. I pretty much take a lot of this stuff, and you can see it's like this white, kind of similar to BCAA and glutamine type of texture. It doesn't really taste too bad, so for that reason, I'm very often just taking it by itself or sometimes mixing it with my pre-workout shake. So here's an example of that. I've got my pre-workout, I've got a nice shaker bottle, and then I'm gonna get my friendly food scale over here. And what's so is my pre-workout does actually have L-tyrosine in it already, as most pre-workout products do, but it just does not have enough. This is Engine, by the way. I really like it, especially for fat loss. So I'm just gonna set this at 0. I'm gonna go ahead, add some water. Now, I personally like weighing my pre-workouts because although it says 1 scoop is gonna always be 8.5 grams, that really just doesn't seem to be the case. And 8.5 grams, it's like if I take too much, then what so is I have too much caffeine, and I'm very sensitive to caffeine. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add my 8.5 grams over here. So we should get 736-ish, perfect. Right? And then from there, we can see that this reads 0. So I'm going to go ahead and get my L-tyrosine, which I have here. And then I typically just like adding 1 extra gram. So it should hit 1. There we go. Perfect. And that, for the most part, is really how I'm using it every single day. It's first thing in the morning, pre-workout. I'm somebody crazy who likes working out every single day. So whether it's weight training or going for a jog, I'm still using the L-tyrosine, because what so is it not only helps to aid my workout, but I seem to be in a much better mood for the rest of the day. So it's short lasting in terms of its intensity with focus, but don't get me wrong, when you use L-tyrosine first thing in the morning, it sets you up to have a really good day. And the studies do say that. It's a known nootropic. It has a lot of supporting research showing that it's effective in fighting stress. So you'll find that when you take L-tyrosine the beginning of the day or in the afternoon, you can go through these stressful occurrences and tolerate them quite well compared to your typical self. And then the other neat way that I would use L-tyrosine or N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine is at the later portion of the day when I need a little bit of a boost, but I don't want to take coffee or caffeine, because coffee, caffeine, it's going to keep you up, whereas L-tyrosine just wouldn't. So what so is it's like, say that scenario at the end of the day when you just have to get like 1 or 2 hours more work done and you're not in the state, you're irritable, maybe you're hungry. That's a great time, and that's the time when I would use L-tyrosine, like something like 750 milligrams, and I can get 1 to 2 hours of really good, effective, and productive work finish. So I hope you found this video helpful, guys. I'm going to end you off with this video here, rating nootropics from a scale of 1 to 10, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next time. Alphabetical order, the first would be Adrafinil. Adrafinil, I would rate it 5 out of 10. It's very powerful for focus, for mood as well. But the reason it's only 5 out of 10 is that I notice I get a lot of irritability once I'm on